Bob, thank you so much for sitting down to speak with me. I'm fascinated by your story. You have made an imprint on East Tennessee that a lot of folks may not know about. So let's just kind of go back. How did you even get to Knoxville?
I thought I wanted to be like a sports anchor. And then once
Really?
yeah, because I love sports, and then obviously I love media. And and I think maybe my mom was whispering in the back of my mind a little bit about how competitive it was. And I started to get exposed to production, and I really loved it. And so at that point, I was like, I think that's what I want to do. So after college, I had done an internship up in my hometown of Indianapolis at the NBC affiliate there. And that went well. And so the following year, I was offered an opportunity to come back there and kind of start out in production as an associate director, and then work my way through. And in a short amount of time, I was directing the primetime news, 5, 6, and 11, Monday through Friday. And I did that for about 5 years. And then LA was calling. I had friends who had gone to Los Angeles, colleagues, and they were saying to me, you really should come out here. There's so much work. I went out and visited, loved it. I was like, God, I'm young. I got to try this. But I really was like, they were all freelance, and I was not built that way. I was like, I don't think I could go out there and do the freelance.
You want a salary with some benefits? I get it.
Correct. I wanted, like a steady paycheck. And so an opportunity came up that I heard about in one of the industry trades to be a senior director at a cable network that was going to be what they called themselves the ESPN of the entertainment industry. So I was a little persistent, got out there for an interview. They offered me the job.
Wow.
And so I made the move from Indianapolis to Los Angeles, and spent about almost 7 years there. And that startup I was talking about at the time was called Movie Time, but that eventually, within about a year and a half's time while I was there, became E! Entertainment Television. And
that's huge.
Yeah, so that worked out. And so for me, I was like, I felt really lucky. At the same time, I wasn't making a lot of money. Again, it was a startup, was living paycheck to paycheck in a place where it was prohibitively expensive. And after spending, like I said, nearly 7 years there, towards the end, it started to get to me. It was a hard place to live, particularly if you were, semi-struggling financially. And for me, I started thinking, man, I think I want to get back home. Maybe this experience was good, and it will set me up for something else back home.
So did you go back to Indianapolis, or where'd you go?
I was looking, and I was trying to get back to Indianapolis, but the truth is there just weren't any opportunities that were interesting enough. And there weren't many opportunities to begin with. And, I started, it was like I could go back and do corporate video or some other things. I was like, I don't think I'm ready to do that. So I was contacted by the folks, Ken Lowe, who was the founder of HGTV, and he had contacted a colleague of mine in Los Angeles as well, who we worked closely together, and Ken had met him through another circumstance, and he was like, I'm starting up this home and garden television network in Knoxville, Tennessee, of all places, and I'm looking to build, an all-star team, and I'm wanting, to see if you're interested in being a part of it. And for me, I only remembered Knoxville from being a little guy going to the Smokies with my dad when I was like, again, 5, 6 years old. But I remembered a little of it. And I was like, you know what? If that's an airlift opportunity to get out of Knoxville or get out of LA and go to Knoxville, I love Knoxville. Let's give it a shot.
So take me back to the early days of HGTV. You get called over to Knoxville to put together this team. You're a part of this team.
Yes.
What were you thinking in the beginning? Like, we're going to talk about homes and building and renovating?
Well, that's the running joke. I think it was maybe the New York Times that wrote an article about the network as it was getting ready to launch, saying it's, kind of posing a question, a network about watching paint dry and grass grow? Come on, And when you put it in that context, it's a good point. I mean, I think that's what was on my mind and probably others. But we had a dynamic leader in Ken who, he was a guy you'd run through a wall for him. I mean, he was just such a a wonderful person, had great vision, and took care of his people too. You know, that's what I always felt. And so for me, I felt very, very fortunate. And I was like, again, let's see what can happen here. And the more I started to learn about what they were thinking about approaching with the business, I started to believe in it. You know, his approach to begin with was, if you can imagine, all back in the day when magazines were still a thing, you know, all the magazines in the shelter category, you know, Better Homes and Gardens and Southern Living and on and on. And he was like, if you could turn that into a TV product, it's not just about watching paint dry and grass grow. It's about home decor, and it's about landscaping, and it's about, you know, all those things.
Renovation, all that.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, I just think there's something there. He also had an eye to the future for the way the cable industry was shifting. You know, everything was getting more and more niche. You certainly had some big general entertainment networks, you know, USA Network, and then, you know, that comes to mind, and TBS and some others. But then you started seeing niche networks like MTV and ESPN, and I think he decided, well, where I was working, and Ken decided, let's do something in the home category. And God, he nailed it. You know, I mean, the rest is history. It's a top 5 network regularly in terms of viewership and ratings.
So why was HGTV started here? Was there a big plan?
Well, a couple of things. I think, again, Ken Lowe, our founder, wanted to be, he was based in Cincinnati at the time at the corporate offices of VW Scripps. And he knew that he wanted to start this type of business, this type of brand, without, speaking candidly, the corporate leadership right over his shoulder. So he knew he wanted to get out of Cincinnati. Ken is from the North Carolina region, actually Mount Airy, which is a little bit of trivia, the old Mount Pilot that was always characterized in Andy Griffith's show. So he knew this part of the country very well. And I think he had gotten wind about the prospect of Cinetel Productions being available to be acquired. What Ken really believed in was, again, the value of this network was going to be about relatability and the value of home to people and what it means to people in very different ways, but it matters so much. And his point was he wanted to set this network up in a part of the country where the team that works behind the scenes to put this whole thing together, to build it, to sell it, all those things, could live in a part of the country where homeownership was affordable, and being able to kind of start that part of your life the right way. He was putting together, like I said earlier, a bit of an all-star team, but he was pulling in people from a lot of major markets where, again, cost of living was through the roof. And that was one of the attractive selling points for that opportunity for people was, come to this place. Geographically, it's wonderful. You have seasons, you have these glorious falls and springs. It's also cheap to live here. Not as cheap as it once was, but now.
But still compared to the rest of the country.
Right, yeah, exactly. And back then, it was like play money, to be perfectly honest. Like if you were someone like me coming from Los Angeles, and you know, it was like, holy cow, this is amazing. And so you could start to live the brand, was what his point was. That was very important to him. We were creating a lot of content at the time for a startup network we had hatched called DIY Network. And so it was like, imagine HGTV, but getting a little more micro.
Okay.
And it was a digital network. It helped our distribution team sell the prospect of HGTV in food, because at that time, cable operators were interested again in creating as much inventory as possible for viewers to, you know, sell their services. So doing some more networks that were digital tiered networks, that was attractive at the time. Totally different world now. Those networks struggle to survive, but back then it was important. But there came an opportunity for me, it was around 2003, where Ken and Ed Spray, who I mentioned earlier, approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in leading DIY Network, be the president of the network. And I was stunned because in our business, most of the time, to get a job as a GM or a president or anything like that, your background typically comes from sales or really hardcore programming. Mine was still production and operations mostly, with some content creation sprinkled in. But they had faith in me, and I'm forever grateful for that, because it was just a tremendous opportunity. When they asked me, for about 2 minutes in my head, I tried to convince myself of, why would I do this? This is out of my comfort zone. I don't think I'm not sure I'll be good at this. And then I was like, this is the place to try it. They believe in you, and I've been there for a while. Let's give it a shot.
Give me some of your best moments, especially at HGTV. Let's focus with Knoxville. What are some of the best moments, maybe some of the stars you've worked with, or just the stories that stick out from your time there?
Well, I have a couple, and one for sure doesn't have anything to do with any stars or celebrities, but it was a moment that I will never, ever forget. And as I mentioned earlier, we were on a really aggressive track to make profitability for HGTV. This was in the early years. And so we reached profitability, I believe it was in less than 3 years' time. I mean, it was record pace in the TV industry. And we had a company meeting, and it was right before the holidays. And Ken Lowe came up and talked to everybody. And you could have, at that point, the company meeting was Knoxville only, and it was, like 150 people. It wasn't massive, but it was, you could do it. You could all have it all in one place at that time. And Ken came up, gave it a report on the business, et cetera, went through some updates. And then at the end of the meeting, he mentioned myself and the executive committee have made a decision, because we reached profitability so soon. We have made the decision, as a thank you to everybody who's helped us get to this point, we took $1 million and we've split it amongst all of you. So you'll be getting a check for whatever it was, $3,000-$4,000. And keep in mind, my wife was working there then too, so that was a double dip. And I thought about that for so many people. That kind of money, when you're not expecting it, it could change your life. You can wipe out debt. You could, might be helping you if you're getting ready to put a down payment on a house, or all these other things. And I just remember the emotion and the energy of that moment. People were like running through the halls, because the meeting ended at that point, and there were people in tears, and so I think back to that, and I was like, that's why I'm working for this company.
So fast forward to today, you're in a new chapter in your career with RIVR Studios. How did this venture even come to fruition?
I'd been talking with the folks at RIVR Media, because we had partnered, back when I was running DIY, we had partnered on many TV shows. They're, strong production company. They've been in business for over 20 years at this point. But we had a history, and a good one. And so, word had gotten out that I was leaving, and between myself and Dee Haslam and Lori Stryer, who's the CEO runs the day-to-day functions of RIVR Media, we were like, we need to partner. We need to do something together. And I was, they were asking me, what do you think? And I said, that's a great question. I'm not sure what that looks like. And to be clear, I want to be a little selective in what I do at this point.
Smart.
Yeah. And so we spent some time, we talked, and one day we were walking through, they already had a small studio, but it's small. It's only about 1,500 square feet. And I was walking through this warehouse area that was massive, but it was like the world's biggest junk drawer. I mean, it just had everything in it.
Every prop,
Oh my God, it was just it was a mess. And they knew it, but that's where they just put stuff. And I was like, I had just left Discovery, and one of my last assignments there was to kind of retrofit their big studio to support all the cooking competition shows for Food Network that had originally been shot in New York and in Los Angeles. They had done that as a cost savings measure, and also a way to perhaps, there were a lot of unknowns with COVID at that point. So the whole notion was, let's work around that and maybe shoot in a place like Knoxville, where it's a little less densely populated, and, you
Right.
know, and there's sunk costs. The studio is essentially free, you know. So, but in order to accommodate that, we had to rebuild parts of the studio to accommodate proper ventilation. And, you know, because you do these cooking competition shows, you may have as many as 10 or 12 big, massive commercial grade cooktops. So you got steam, you got grease, you got all this
I never thought
stuff.
about that.
Yeah, and so we had to rebuild the roof, basically, to support all of that. But what I learned while doing that was, okay, so we built that studio, and if you walked in and you saw it, it looked like a spaceship. There's this big, massive silver pieces of apparatus that come out of the ceiling. Well, for that type of show, for a cooking show, it's part of the scenic. It works fine. It's a kitchen, like a big, massive kitchen. And so for us, that was fine, but I sat there and thought, but if you want to do any other type of show in that studio now, you have to remove all of those things, and those take weeks to get taken out, weeks to get put back in, and Discovery was all about scale. They were all about, hey, there's 52 weeks in a year. We should be able to be shooting 46 to 48 weeks a year. Yeah. And so the only way you're going to do that is to stick to that type of show. But that left everything else. And so what I had said to Dee and Lori was, I think there is an opportunity here. You have real estate. We'd need to invest some money, and I am an investor in this new business. Because we need to modify this. We need to do a major renovation. But you have over 6,000 square feet of studio space here if we did it properly. And the world's changing, you know. Not only did the world change with COVID, but the industry changed, you know. We see it a lot. There's a huge influx, particularly in the production world. There's companies, small production companies that have relocated to Knoxville from Los Angeles.
Which is wild. That is so wild to think about.
Well, I think back and I think, God, I always joke about it. It is a joke. I'm like, hey, I was a trendsetter. I did it 28 years ago, and now others are doing it. But
hey, wait, same.
Yeah.
Miami to Knoxville.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, now more than ever, in my opinion, the opportunity to do production in other places besides New York and LA could never be bigger. And particularly with streaming and everything else, there's never been a better time. There's never been a bigger demand for content, okay, because everybody's trying to stock the shelves. So I was like, why don't we invest some money in the studio space, make it a studio? Then you have 2 studios. And what's really great about RIVR, if you've not been there, is it's kind of like a mini lot. You know, you've got RIVR Media just over one wall that's doing editing and creating shows, and then in RIVR Studios now we have 2 studio spaces, and so and that matters. I'm telling you, it matters when you're creative coming in and making things and creating content or marketing, because there's an energy and a vibe there that's what people do. It's not just a box. You don't just walk in and it's like, okay, let's shoot, and then we got to go home. And by the way, where can I go hang for a minute? And there's nowhere to do it. This is like, it's a creative environment, and it was built. A lot of that was built long before I came there, but that's what I've really tried to propagate.
So what's the big vision for RIVR Studios?
Our goal was look, we thought long and hard when we were starting RIVR Studios about naming it something else, and we went back and forth and a lot of conversation, and finally I just was thinking, you know how hard it is for a new brand of any sort to break through these days? It's very tough. And, you know, I was like, RIVR Media has been here locally for sure over 20 years. They're known in the national marketplace. Why don't we just draft off of that and build a growth narrative? Talk about the fact that RIVR Media is actually adding more tools to their toolkit. They're creating a studio game as well, which helps their development team perhaps develop more content that's studio based, because most of what RIVR does today is based in the field, you know, and all around the country, but it's all field oriented for the most part. So that's part of our goal, is to maybe build the RIVR Media business to do more of those types of shows that can be studio oriented. But for me, I also felt like when I talked earlier about content and marketing, the world's changed. It's not just TV shows. It's, you know, it's digital content. It's content marketing, which is a huge piece these days. Commercial work. You know, one of our big partners locally is Tombras, and they are a white hot agency of national renown at this point. They're getting a ton of national accounts, and we're proud to say we do a lot of work with them. I mean, my goal is, within reason, anything and everything that's in need of video, we want to be there, and we want to be there to support it and help it. We're doing work with Spire Sports as well, the new NIL collective. That's a pretty hot topic these days. So, but they recognized, you know, there needs to be a video strategy for what they do, and we're gonna help them with that.
Thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.